Today we're going to be looking at some core small vehicles. Now we're going to be looking at a bunch of these because there's not very much to say about a lot of these. Some of these are very interesting. For example, this bike came out in 2000. So that's 17 years ago as of this video. So that's some very interesting stuff there. And of course we got this ATV, which is also pretty cool, that came out earlier. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and I'm going to show you some of these core small vehicles. These are the Core Elite small vehicles. We have a bunch of motorcycles, and we also have a drone, a helicopter, and an ATV. The most common of these is probably the motorcycles. Let's take a look at the racing bike. This racing motorcycle was actually molded in 2015, and we'll call it the Striker, since this is Striker back here. Since it says Elite down here in the bottom, this belongs to the Core. The motorcycle also says 03, so I'm not sure exactly what that's all about. Go ahead and turn it around, and we have a really thin seat right there. We have the handlebars, which move back and forth. There's some really nice detail on the gauges right there, and they're supposed to, it looks like there's a gas cap right there, but they didn't really mold that out. On the other side, which is not the show side, we can see that there's some grates along the side. We see the chain and some other detail of the engine, and of course 2015 Lennard. The wheels are okay. They're a little bit on the thicker side, which is nice for standing up, but as you saw earlier, I actually had to make it stand up with some poster putty. They do seem to be kind of hollow, as you can see right there, but I do kind of like the small soft tread detail right there. And we'll take a look at the figures that will stand on this. So since this is from 2015, we should be able to get a 2015 figure and get them to sit on it. So that would have to be Puma or Snakebite. So there we have Puma on the Striker motorcycle. As you can see, she can actually stand up on it, which is pretty cool for posing. But if you're going to use her for play, she can very easily be converted into a sitting position. Now we'll take a look at the dirt bike. This is the dirt bike, and we'll call it Rancor since that's what it is right here. And on the Core Elite, I actually have this one in two different colors. We have it as the lime green and the olive green. I prefer the olive green personally, just because the stickers seem to fit a little bit better. And they are the same exact stickers, just different color bikes. So we'll look at the olive green version. So you can see it does have handlebars, but they don't turn. It has a headlight in the front, and it's just painted on plastic. We have the shocks, which are of course one solid piece. The engine is colored in silver. We have some foot stands on there, or foot pegs, or whatever, which for the feet. We have the chain, which comes down. It's kind of strange. But then again, I'm not too familiar with dirt bikes, so I'm not sure if that's really possible. It does have the exhaust on the back. Again, this time we don't have the chain, but we do have the same kind of pattern on the back there, and the engine, again, with the foot stand and the shocks on the front. It looks like there's some kind of a cover right here, maybe shield. On this side you can't really see it because of the decal, but on this side you can totally see it right there. Then we have the seat, of course, and the molded in gas cap. And it looks like there's supposed to be some gauges on there, but these aren't molded very well. And that is because this motorcycle was molded in 2000. So even though this motorcycle was released during the Core Elite in 2015, 2000 would make this part of the vintage line. The Core didn't get the current bodies until 2003. So let's take a look at what a vintage line figure would look like on this and what a modern Core figure would look like on this. Here is Rucker on the vintage motorcycle. As you can see, he is way too big and he doesn't really fit very well. The best I can do is having him kind of standing up. But maybe that's because he doesn't have the ball joint legs like the girls So let's take a look at Puma on this thing. There's Puma on the motorcycle now, and she fits a little bit better. She does look a little bit awkward sitting straight up like that, and her feet aren't even on the foot pegs or on the foot stands right there. So let's look at a vintage line figure on this motorcycle. Here we have the 1992 vintage line Hiro Yamada figure version 2. And he looks like he fits just about as good as Puma. So that means that this motorcycle is just a really bad design. Hiro can't even stand on this motorcycle. But Hiro Yamada's mold actually comes from 1986. So maybe we need something closer to 2000. And here we have Just In Case, who first came out in 1999. So this is as close as we're going to get to this motorcycle's year. As you can see, he fits just about as well as Hiro Yamada. So this motorcycle was just not designed very well. This dirt bike is actually my least favorite vehicle in the core toy line. I think what would have given it some extra brownie points was if it had a kickstand so that way it could display properly. And keeping with the theme of motorcycles, we're going to look at the ATV next. This ATV has 4 wheels and they spin very nicely. Here we have some engine detail and of course a skull signifying a curse vehicle. We do have these 2 machine guns on top and this ammo belt that goes straight across. I'm pretty sure you can remove the ammo belt, but I haven't tried yet. The handlebars move back and forth, and there is a gas cap on this. The seat is painted the same color as the top part of the motorcycle. And then we have this other part right here that could act like a seat, or I'm not sure what, just maybe something to carry something on there. But it also has this cap, and I'm not sure exactly what that could be, since we do have a gas cap up front. This ATV does have a working winch, which is really neat. Just pull on it, and then of course you could just reel it back in. We do have the exhaust on the back, more engine detail, and then there's a lot less detail right here. And the front has, I'm not sure what that is, probably a headlight, but that is interesting that this doesn't have any headlights, and maybe that could have been for a number right here. I believe this ATV first came out during the Total Soldier line, and it came out with the Flying Fortress helicopter of that series. Since this is a modern vehicle, I'm pretty sure we can fit a modern figure on this. I got my ATV with the Titan tank. As you can see, he looks a little awkward sitting up, but at least it looks better than all the other figures sitting on the dirt bike. This ATV is one of my favorite small vehicles in the core toy line, and that is because the wheels spin freely, it has really nice machine guns in the front, a working winch, and the figures look nice when they're sitting on it. Not to mention it could stand up on its own. Next up, we'll be looking at the Curse's Drone. The Curse's Drone is actually really simple. It has 3 wheels on the bottom, but they do not spin, and it's hollow. It's just one piece. This part right here moves up and down, and the wings can close. The drone can also come right off. You can definitely tell that this drone is a filler. Now there is a larger drone, but I can't get my hands on it for a decent price, but I'll still try, and once I do, I'll be reviewing that one. It's definitely bigger than this, and it comes with a character. Next, we'll take a look at this helicopter. This mini helicopter was definitely one that I did not like at first. I didn't understand it. It has a window on top, and it's just a mini helicopter with this stand right here. But as you can see, there's this peg right here, and if you take one of your core figures and slide them in between, put the peg on their back, and now it's actually a vehicle. The colors on this are tan, silver, white, and green. It has some design on there, a star for the core, and 03, which I'm not sure what that is, but it was also in the other motorcycle. The mold for the spy helicopter was done in 2015. This vehicle is actually really neat. It reminds me of James Bond or some kind of a spy vehicle, and that is just really, really cool. And the character looks really nice in it. They fit really well. And then the back peg, that was an excellent idea. It's a really simple toy, but I did change my mind on how I felt about it after I put the figure on there. And that is just so awesome. Okay, and this is the 2015 Corelli Air Command Helicopter, or as many of you guys know it, the Dragonfly. So this is what came with this version of the Dragonfly. It came with, again, Plague and the lime green motorcycle. You can also see a bunch of different accessories that we haven't taken a look at yet. Now in the Corelli, it was known as the Air Command, but when this came out during Total Soldier, it was known as Storm Strike. The Storm Strike version came with the same exact things. The differences were that the helicopter was more of an olive green. It still had the orange see-through plastic on it, and it also had the same designs, but they were in different colors. Plague also came with desert fatigues, and the motorcycle was tan. All the accessories were still that same shiny green that you see right now. The first version of the Dragonfly also had the orange see-through plastic, but it was all black with lime green. Now we've already taken a look at the motorcycle, so we can get that out of the way. We've also taken a look at the Plague, so we can move him out of the way. Now let's take a look at the accessories first. So for the new accessories, we actually got an ice pick for climbing. So this actually came with an old figure of the Corps from the new recruits. His name was Ice. And we took a look at a different version of Ice during the Kong Skull Island figure review. The ice pick came with a rope for the figure to hold on to, and it also has a back peg. That's pretty cool. It also has a hook right here so you can hook it onto something. Now we also get this sword. It looks to be like some kind of a ninja sword with an actual handguard. The sword also has a back peg on it. And then we get this time bomb here that is set for 10 seconds. And it has a handle, has some cords here that put it all together. This is actually a really neat accessory, and I like it because it just makes the curse so much more terrorizing. And now we come to this huge gun here. This huge gun is a two-handed gun, and we'd have to actually use the back peg as a way of holding on to this gun. And of course there's that handle, and it looks like it might be like a mini gun with one huge barrel in the front, or maybe that's to build energy, but I highly doubt it because it does come with this ammo belt, and the ammo belt fits right through there. Now the only problem with this ammo belt is that it's not done in flexible plastic, so if we were to bend this, it would actually break. That's really unfortunate because it would have been really neat to have these bullets hanging, and we know they can do that because we've seen it on the ATV. It actually looks pretty dumb with the bullets just kind of straight out like that. Now we'll take a look at the Dragonfly, or in this case, the Destroyer, which is what it says right here. The Destroyer comes in gray paint with silver on the engine, some yellow markings for camouflage, although I don't know what would be yellow to camouflage with. M5, or it looks like M upside down 2, or I'm not sure, but M5 up there, and Destroyer on the back. On the other side, there is no real paint applications except for back here. Not sure why they decided to actually do that one spot. Oh, and of course the engine. The Destroyer has this cockpit and this window, but it doesn't open. We do have a steering wheel that moves up and down, and we have some nice detail on the seats. There's no other instruments inside of this helicopter. You can see that there is a handle on each side of this, and we could probably have some figures stand up on the helicopter right here. The only thing is there is no back pegs. It looks like this might be a light down here, or maybe some kind of a really thick machine gun. And then there's some clear plastic back here, which is the engine. This helicopter has a lights and sound feature, which is actually activated by pressing the button where this arrow is pointing to. The destroyer also has a fin on the back that spins, and of course we have the propeller on top that also spins. There is another feature to this helicopter. If you turn it around and look down here, we have a fin, and if you pull on that fin, it reveals a hook. Now this is some kind of a safety or rescue hook, I believe, so you can actually tie some string onto that with another figure on the bottom, and you can rescue that figure, or that figure could be rescuing another character, maybe even pick up some vehicles. And finally, if you need to store your helicopter, you can just fold the propellers in and you're all set to go. The propellers can also fold in one direction if you'd like. I like this helicopter just fine. I wish there was foot pegs on the skids so that way the characters can sit on there much better. But what actually sold me on this was the accessories. I really like the big gun, I really like the bomb, and I also like the ice hook. The sword is alright. I haven't really seen the sword in any of the other figures, the bomb, or the giant gun. I think it would have been better if maybe they would have had a different character, maybe somebody from the old core line. It's cool that you can hold up to 3 characters on this thing. But the thing is, they're going to be flopping around because there is no foot pegs. Well, I hope you guys like my review of the Dragonfly, aka the Destroyer, and the other small vehicles in the core toy line. And stay tuned, as next time we look at the other first female in the core toy line, Snakebite version 1. And it's actually pretty cool, especially since but there is no other instruments inside of